some people feel like you were behind that.
People feel like I'm behind a lot, but I'm not.
Young Ace has denied any involvement in Foolio's death since day one. But as the trial of Foolio's accused killers unfolds, a bombshell has dropped, new footage has surfaced, and it's so damning that even Ace's own lawyer just walked away. The video allegedly reveals a direct connection to Ace, turning the entire case upside down. Inside the courtroom, chaos erupted. This wasn't grainy Ring camera footage or a blurry club clip. This was raw, unfiltered inside footage, reportedly pulled straight from a suspect's own device. In it, a person who looks exactly like a known associate of Young Ace is seen rewatching the night Foolio was killed. Not just watching, talking through it, boasting, reenacting. Legal experts told reporters off the record that footage like this only surfaces once in a generation. You don't walk into a murder trial with evidence this explosive unless you're ready to bury everyone sitting on the defense bench. The case was already a circus. 5 people are charged in the murder of Foolio, whose real name was Charles Jones, gunned down in a Tampa hotel parking lot on his 26th birthday, June 23, 2024. Surveillance footage captured the entire ambush: 3 shooters, 2 vehicles, military style. Precision, brass catchers on rifles, 1 victim dead, 3 more injured. What was already an airtight case just became bulletproof. As of July 2025, the 5 defendants Sean Gathright, Isaiah Chance, Devon Murphy, Rashad Murphy, and Alicia Andrews face charges ranging from first-degree murder to attempted murder and evidence tampering. Florida is seeking the death penalty for 4 of them. Alicia Andrews, who allegedly tracked Foolio but didn't pull the trigger, is the only one not currently facing death. This leaked footage might be the final nail in the coffin, according to an anonymous source. Present during an emergency closed-door meeting between the defense team and the judge, Young Ace's lawyer called the case undefendable the moment the footage was introduced. Less than an hour later, Ace's lawyer officially withdrew from the case. To be clear, Young Ace hasn't been charged with murder and is not one of the 5 currently on trial. But this raw, uncut footage allegedly ties him to the events in a way the state hadn't proven before. And that's terrifying if you're on the defense, because this trial is no longer just about guilt. It's about proximity to guilt. And the state is watching everyone. This wouldn't even be the first time a suspect in Foolio's murder case has incriminated themselves in a stunningly reckless way. Rashad Murphy fired his lawyers and chose to represent himself in a death penalty case. Devon Murphy, during interrogation, literally acted out the shooting with an invisible rifle, making gun sounds with his mouth.
Holding it like this in front of him, and then he starts going, and then he walks around, and then he does it again. And he does it multiple times.
When asked why he never fled to Mexico, he shrugged and said, "The best way to hide from a white man. Right out in the open."
He was bouncing around abandoned houses and different female houses. And at the end he says, "I didn't need to go to Mexico because the best way to hide from a white man is in plain sight."
And now, with this new leaked footage, it's like every single one of them is working for the prosecution. Sources close to the case say the clip shows more than just the shooting. It shows suspects laughing about it, celebrating it, and possibly even naming higher-ups in the ATK and 1200 gangs, which brings us back to Young Ace. For years, people have accused Ace of using his rap career to launder street credibility for ATK, the gang he's allegedly tied to. He's dropped tracks like Do It and Game Over, widely seen as veiled shots at Foolio. And just weeks after Foolio's death, Ace's own mother went on live stream, mocking Foolio by name.
Ma, I got you on live, ma. They can hear you on live, ma. Look.
Hey, love, what's up?
Who you smoke? Who you smoke?
Foolio.
That's not just disrespect, that's open antagonism after a murder. That's a pattern, and in court, pattern matters. This trial isn't just about street revenge anymore. Florida prosecutors say this wasn't just a shooting, it was a premeditated, multi-city, multi-gang conspiracy, fueled by social media warfare and supercharged by the toxic cycle of clout and street credibility. And now that toxic loop has come full circle with a defense lawyer literally walking out of the courtroom in disbelief. To understand just how bad things look for Foolio's killers, you have to see the mountain of evidence stacked against them. Caught in 4K. On June 23, 2024, Foolio was celebrating his birthday in Tampa when he got gunned down in what police describe as a targeted gang hit. But the setup for that hit started long before that night, and what's wild is these guys really thought they could pull off the perfect lick. They had no clue they were leaving a digital trail that would stitch them straight to the crime. On June 21, 2024, Alicia Andrews booked an Airbnb under Rashad Murphy's name for June 22 through June 24. That wasn't some last-minute move, that was step one in what the feds now call a full-on murder conspiracy. These guys were plotting this like a military. The 5 suspects Isaiah Chance, Alicia Andrews, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Devon Murphy set out to take Foolio out for real. The grim part? They used Foolio's own Instagram against him, turning his birthday posts into a GPS tracker for his own death. They stalked his socials as he flexed at Teaser's Gentleman's Club and Truth 18 nightclub on June 22nd, broadcasting his moves to the world and to his killers. The coordination was next level, closer to a cartel hit than some back and forth street beef. They rolled in 2 cars, a silver Chevy Cruze driven by Isaiah Chance with Alicia Andrews riding shotgun, and a black Chevy Impala mostly driven by Sean Gathright. The Cruze crew played lookout, fed intel, and ran recon. The Impala carried the shooters and the rifles. License plate readers later traced both cars from Jacksonville to Tampa, painting a chilling picture of hunters stalking prey across state lines. But the surveillance game went deeper than just tailing cars. These guys ran street intelligence like they'd been trained. Isaiah Chance was using Alicia Andrews' phone to call Sean Gathwright's line, while his own phone pinged near the murder scene, a multi-phone play to throw off cell tower tracking. They knew how the cops hunted signals and tried to stay one step ahead. Video surveillance from Teaser's Truth 18 and the murder scene at home 2 suites later showed them moving in eerie sync, sliding in and out of frame like clockwork. The footage points to hours, maybe days of practice runs and planning. And on the morning of the hit, Isaiah Chance and Sean Gathright were caught on camera loading the same rifles they'd used to gun Foolio down.
You see them carrying a bag large enough to what? Carry 2 AK-style rifles.
The night of June 22nd into the early hours of June 23rd played out like a real-life predator stalking its prey. Foolio had no idea that every move he made was being watched, recorded, and relayed back to a crew of killers closing in on him hour by hour. Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews were tailing Foolio from Teasers to Truth 18, stepping out of their car to keep eyes on him in person. Security cameras caught Chance in a distinctive black hoodie with a red logo, making him easy to identify as he tracked Foolio's every move like a hunter zeroing in on his target. The final act kicked off around 4:15 a.m., when Foolio left the club and headed toward a hotel on McKinley, completely unaware that the trap was about to snap shut.
4:15 in the morning, Jones began to head to a hotel on McKinley.
What Foolio didn't know was that death was following him, just a few car lengths back. Multiple vehicles were on his trail, tracking his every move through the early morning hours of what would become the last day he ever drew breath.
One of the suspect vehicles is seen following the victim. However, instead of following them into a parking lot, they stage across the street.
This tactical positioning across the street wasn't random. It was strategic, allowing the ops to keep eyes on Foolio while staying low-key. This wasn't the sloppy work of street dudes, it was the kind of calculated positioning you'd expect from trained hitters. It showed just how much planning went into this assassination. At 4:34 a.m., the black Chevy Impala pulled into the Home 2 Suites parking lot, parking in a spot that avoided a direct line of sight with Foolio's vehicles. 3 minutes later, at 4:37 a.m., the silver Chevy Cruze sped through the lot, passing Foolio's cars twice before peeling off a final recon mission to confirm the target's location and make sure everything was in place for the hit. Multiple security cameras captured this last surveillance pass. And when you watch the footage, you can see how calculated it was. The Cruze didn't just roll through once. It made 2 deliberate passes, giving the occupants a clear look at the target vehicle, counting heads, and checking for any obstacles that could mess up their plan. Then came the moment that would change everything forever.
At 4:38, 3 shooters exit a vehicle and walked in the direction of the hotel.
The hit itself was captured from multiple angles, including a Tesla in sentry mode, creating a clear, chilling record of one of the most brazen executions in recent memory. 3 shooters, Rashad Murphy, Sean Gathright, and Devon Murphy, jumped out of the Impala, armed to ensure Foolio wouldn't leave alive. Rashad came out blasting with a pistol fitted with an extended magazine, firing on full auto. Gathright and Devon unleashed AR-style rifles equipped with brass catchers. Those brass catchers are key. They're designed to catch spent shell casings, so nothing gets left behind for forensics to trace. It shows these weren't impulsive killers, acting in a moment of rage. They were methodical assassins who had planned every detail of the hit, down to how they would avoid leaving evidence. But there was one thing they didn't care to plan for: innocent bystanders. In their ruthless execution, they almost ended up killing more people than they intended.
They murdered Jones with a handgun and 2 rifles. This barrage of gunfire also struck 3 additional victims who miraculously survived this incident.